People think I'm super disciplined with food, but I'm actually not. A lot of my girlfriends keep asking me like, how are you so disciplined? How do you do it? What's your secret? Well, I'm actually not disciplined. I do have a secret though. And the secret is that I make food very simple. Because for years I thought eating healthy just meant more control, more willpower, more discipline, more restriction. But it turns out it's actually the opposite. Oh my goodness. This is just the best. But let's get into the topic of this video. I'm Laura, and I used to struggle with food for over 2/3 of my life. And I want to get a bit into my backstory before we jump onto what I'm doing now, so you understand that I'm not your regular intuitive eater girl from the internet. I mean, you see those like lean model type of girls that just claim to be intuitive eaters, and it's always been like that for them. Well, I'm not that person. So I used to be obsessed with food. I used to be obsessed with my body. I used to work out 1.5 hours pretty much every day. And then on top of that, I would teach Zumba classes. I was also vegan for about 7 years, and I went on this extreme high carb, low fat vegan trend where I was so scared of fat that I would measure the tiniest little teaspoon of peanut butter, so just to make sure that I don't eat too much fat. I always would use water in a frying pan instead of olive oil because I was so scared of oil as well. And probably the craziest thing I did was a thing called Banana Island, where all I would eat for days was bananas. 25 bananas a day. Completely crazy. What was I thinking? How did I think that this was healthy? Honestly, I have no idea. So in summary, I really thought that eating healthy, being healthy just meant controlling every aspect. There was literally no trust in my body and the cues my body can give. And that was exhausting. Let's move into the turning point when everything changed. So for me, I started slowly, very slowly, to heal when I lived in Bali. I lived in Bali for 1.5 years. It was quite a healing experience. I learned to trust my body more. I didn't obsessively exercise. I still did exercise a fair share. I went to Pilates classes and yoga, but I just learned to be more in tune with my body. And with all that amazing food available in Bali, the fresh food, and just like that spiritual environment, I started slowly to heal. But the most transformative turning point was when I was pregnant. All right, I'm going to finish this so I can have a chat with you in peace. When I was pregnant, for the first time in my life, it was just so easy to listen to my body. It was crazy. It was a completely new experience to me. I've never experienced that in my life. It was just wild. I knew what my body wanted. I knew when I felt like satisfied. I didn't always finish my plate. It was just so easy. Everything was so easy when I was pregnant, and that just completely blew my mind. And the craziest part is that also just, it just stuck around. Postpartum was exactly the same. It was so easy to nourish my body. I was breastfeeding my baby, and all I really wanted is just to nourish my body, support my body making milk. I was just so proud of my body for what it had produced, this tiny little human. And it was also the first time that I didn't really think too much about how my body looked. I was just so proud of my body for all that it had done. And then very naturally, I got in shape, or however you want to call it. I don't want to call it like got my body back or whatever, because your body is different. But yeah, I'd say I was in better shape than I was ever before, because it was so easy for me to just listen to my body, to move my body, to nourish my body. So that for me was a very healing experience. And that was also the moment I really moved away from processed shit. That was the moment I started buying mainly ingredients and cook for us, and just like found so much joy in cooking. Whereas before I would do, I don't know, I would buy like protein bars and would eat processed stuff. I would now rather eat eggs or some nuts and some fruit. There were a couple of other things that I just really started to get into, and I just really want to share what these things are, because for me, implementing those, I call them 4 pillars of simplicity, implementing those 4 pillars of simplicity really changed everything for me. So I feel I just want to share them, and maybe they will benefit you as well. So the first pillar is real food only. So if it's not real food, I don't buy it. We don't eat it. So I used to buy protein bars, but when I started to read the labels of those protein bars, I was like, hell no, I don't want all of this stuff in my body. So instead I make us some treats. I make like high protein muffins or some healthier cookies, brownies. And I just make sure that there's enough protein in my diet. And I don't need to eat a protein bar. I will use protein powder, but the protein powder I use is literally just grass-fed whey. And I don't even use the one that's flavored. So I use unflavored one. And then I will just put some honey in there, so it's nice, a little bit sweeter. So when I go shopping, I read the labels. And if there's nasty stuff in there, anything artificial, anything that I can't even pronounce, I will not buy it. I don't buy most of the shredded cheese because it has preservatives. So either I find one without, or I just buy a block of cheese. And I could go on and on with this, because the industry is just crazy. They're not on our side. They're putting so much additives into our food, which makes us sick. So if you don't want to be sick, don't eat the processed shit. It's really that simple. So pillar number 1, real food only. Let's move on to pillar number 2, protein anchors. When I was vegan, I completely underestimated the importance of protein. And don't get me wrong, I was always eating a healthy-ish diet. I was always kind of a fitness girly, and I always, even when I was vegan, I consumed protein powder. But some of my meals, there was really barely any protein, because I just ate a lot of vegetables. And there's definitely nothing wrong with the vegetables, but protein is one of the most essential nutrients, especially as we age. And the difference I noticed when I started to base my meals around protein was just crazy. Like my complete body composition completely changed. Completely changed, because I started to eat more protein, and I started to give protein a bigger rank on how I decide what to eat. That also completely changed my satiety. When I was vegan, I was just hungry all the freaking time. Now, I eat at least 30 grams of protein for breakfast, and I can go for hours without eating, because my blood sugar doesn't spike, and I'm just generally very satiated from my breakfast, which had a lot of protein. So every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, even snacks, start with protein. What is my source of protein in this meal? And this really helped me to stabilize my hormones and also stabilize my blood sugar. Pillar number 3 is homemade swaps. I really am not missing out on any treats, because I just make them myself. Usually every week I will make us a nice treat or a couple of treats, muffins, brownies, cookies, some caramel slices, you name it. We always have a nice treat at home, so we're never missing out. And I always have homemade swaps for my toddler, so she also doesn't feel like she's missing out. And either my toddler helps and we make it together, which she does love. She loves to bake with me. So that's always a fun activity to do together. Or I have like a full snack prep Sunday afternoon to myself, which is also really nice. Very like, makes me very zen because I know I have snacks in the fridge for the week and I'm doing something that my future self will thank me. Honestly, try it. And I think the best part about not having and not buying any processed snacks is that our toddler just smashes every main meal because I'm not overfeeding her with like processed junk. And then her taste buds are just very accustomed to real food, to broccoli, to potatoes, to carrot. We're gonna have some fish with this, and I know that she's gonna smash all of that because she's just not used to sugary or so snacks with flavor enhancers that completely destroy their taste buds. And everyone is always like, oh, you're so lucky, you have such a good eater. Honestly, I did this on purpose, and you could too. All right, let's move on to making a sauce and our last pillar. Our last pillar is balanced carbs and fats. I used to fear carbs so much. I told you the story about the peanut butter. I told you the story about the bananas and not using any oil at all. So I think I was literally under 30 grams of fat every day, which is just crazy. My poor hormones. What have I done to them? And it's not a surprise that during that time I went off the pill and I did not get my period back for over a year. Looking back, like not eating any fats at all, what was I thinking? Really, like what was my plan there? It was definitely not great for my hormones, but I got them back. I had a baby. Everything turned out well. I fixed it. But don't make my mistake. Fat is good, and now I know that I need it, so I'm not going easy on the fat. I'll put it on everything. I'll drizzle olive oil on everything now, generous amounts. I add butter to my toast. I eat avocado with everything. I eat only full-fat dairy if I eat dairy. So basically, I really used to fear fat, and now I know that my body needs it. And carbs are really also good for us. They're really not bad for us. You just need to pair them with friends, either with protein or with fat, so they don't spike your blood sugar like crazy. So now I honestly have to say the peace that I have with food pays off so much, because food used to be a full-time job in my head. I used to constantly think about what I'm gonna eat, what I'm gonna cook, like how am I gonna work this off, like where can I squeeze in a treat. I used to save macros for the end of the day so I could have a little treat. I used to skip breakfast or skip full meals, and now I just listen to my body. And I don't know if you understand how much time and energy that frees up. It is just mind-blowing. So I don't have to waste time tracking the food I eat. I don't have to start over every Monday. I don't have to fall off, falling off the wagon, falling off the train. How do you say it? Yeah, so I just eat real food and I trust my body. And if you are still in that place where food is in your head 24/7, I feel you. You don't need more discipline and you don't need more rules. You just need simplicity. And if I can do it with my completely messed up history, I know that you can do it too. And if you want to start simplifying your food, the easiest step is just to start reading the labels. Pick a day to bake something from scratch. And the way I see it, it's easier to focus on adding something than restricting something or taking something away, because the more you add, you just add something that you baked instead of something processed. You just add something with less ingredients than the thing you had before. You just add some more fruit, you just add some more vegetables, and at some point, there will just be no space for fully processed shit. And you'll be surprised how freeing it is. I really just want to emphasize this again. I'm not really disciplined. In my circle of friends, the person who eats the cleanest diet. And I'm not disciplined at all. I just made food simple. And I have to say, life tastes better that way. Let me know how you do it in the comments. If you did like this video, please make sure to hit the like button and hit subscribe so I know to make more of these types of videos.